Okay, back with Jack Sports Television. Again, I'm Brian Lyle, Damian Bell, and Pat Donovan. We're talking about the teams, the programs to get the, what I like to call the Bobby Bowden Award. Teams that out of conference-wise schedule, real programs, teams that are hungry, teams that are willing to line up with their best guys out on the field and play the other team with their best guys on the field. So nothing but love for those. Now I'm going to get into the Tomato Can Awards, but first, you brought up a great topic about money in the BCS, Pat. And with all this conference realignment and all this talk that was going on, I read something that came out of the Big Ten commissioner's mouth, Jim Delaney, okay? And this was something he did a deposition somewhere. Obviously, did a deposition with one of the government, state or federal or whatever it was. But he was talking about that there would be more money made from a playoff than an actual, BCS bowl game. So he bamboozled everybody. And for those that paid attention to the conference realignment, long story short, Jim Delaney of the Big Ten was the one guy who constantly struck down the +1 format. He constantly struck it down, okay? And one of the reasons he struck it down, long story short, was because he wanted to put an end to the Big 12 conference, okay? Now, I don't want to get too far into that, and that's another topic, but if you know what I'm talking about, you can follow me on that. If not, just read, and we'll talk about it a little bit later. But the Tomato Can Awards, these are the teams that they schedule the cupcakes, okay? I've got some teams. I've got Florida, Texas, Southern Cal, Oregon. It's disgusting, the teams that they're playing, okay? I've said enough. Just go ahead.
Well, I'll tell you with Florida, there's a Gator fan every mile that, they love everything that Florida does, in love with the program, watching them build from small to big time to super big time. And a lot of this is done on the backs of the New Mexico states, of the Western Carolinas, of the Calaveras County All-Star team, what they'll play, and you wonder how a team actually gets better by playing squads like this. And the small school benefits from the big payday when they come to Ben Hill Griffin Stadium, so Florida benefits by getting that big win. The other school benefits by getting more money to build their program so they can one day be a super elite school. And I have a problem with what Florida does, because when you have an 11-win season, but 3 of those wins are just garbage squads that aren't on your level, aren't eligible to win a title that you're going for, even though they might be in that same area, you want to see these teams tested early and often. I mean, when I get to the bowl season and I realize that Florida, yeah, they're in a bowl game, but they're not going to play that hard because they're not in a BCS bowl or they're not going for the championship, so we're not going to see the real Gators. That just kills it for me right there. You see these guys, they go to the bowl city, they get treated like royalty and mail it in for the game because it's not the big game. And it goes all the way back to those first 2 or 3 games in the season when you want to get a snapshot of how good your team really is, but all you find out is we can play 85 players and not lose a beat.
I get told by college football fans all the time that it's the greatest sport in the country. And I say, what the hell are you watching? I'm sorry, but the best part about sports, the reason why we all do this show, the reason why we love sports is competition. And there isn't enough competition in college football, let's face it. A year ago, Florida had an opponent where they were 62.5-point favorites. Are you kidding me? That's like you and I, it's like the 3 of us going out and playing against Pop Warner kids. That's not competition. I don't want to see Little Mary's School for the Poor or whatever it is. I don't want to see these guys against top 10 competition. I don't ever. But you see it all the time in college, in football. In college basketball, you do have the tournament where in the beginning of the tournament, you do see the 1s versus the 16s, but guess what? You see a lot of 2s and 15s where the 15 ends up on top of the 2. So I'd like to see some playoffs in college football because it's absurd. Let's fix it. Just fix it. For crying out loud, fix it.
We'd all love to see that. Listen, I've been on the opposite end of that beatdown. 62, I think it was 56-3 one game we got beat down. If Florida had 9 guys get drafted, okay, they're going to beat a lot of teams down. They're going to beat 90+% of the teams in the country. That team last year would beat them down. They had 9 guys get drafted, okay, majority 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th round. Okay, I think the tight end Hernandez slipped in the 5th because of dope. Okay, he got picked up by the Patriots, and that's the only reason why he slipped. When you're playing Miami of Ohio, okay, when you're playing Appy State, and I've been to small school, okay, so the Appy State, we look forward to the challenge of playing a Florida Gator, and you've got some guys out there like Amani Edwards got drafted, that quarterback. the Bucks took Dexter Jackson. It just didn't work out. He
How
still
did
could
that
play.
work out?
It didn't work out at all. But he could still play. He could have found a spot to play on that Florida Gator team. There's no ifs, ands, or maybes about that. Okay? But I give you credit for South Florida gets a pass. I mean, South Florida, believe it or not, has some serious talent. 6 guys get drafted. Coach Levitt I didn't even know if he was dumb. He was always saying that instead of talking where people can understand him. Southern Cal, listen, last year Miami, as a week one, I remember counting it, had the most guys in the National Football League. They tied Louisiana State. They both, as a week one, they both had 41. Southern Cal had 37. You know they're loaded with talent. So when you're playing Hawaii, Virginia, Minnesota, you're always going to play Notre Dame. You're not going to a bowl game, so how are you maximizing? How was Lane Kiffin selling you're going to play the best to the kids when you're not playing the best right now? That conference is legit, but give me more than this. I mean, Oregon's got a ton of talent, okay? You're playing New Mexico. I'll give you credit for Tennessee, but Portland State? I mean, last time I heard, I thought Jerry Glanville was there. I'm serious. And Texas.
Don't be hating on Jerry Glanville now.
Texas had 39 guys last year in the league. You're playing Rice, Wyoming, UCLA, okay, maybe. Florida Atlantic? I mean, come on. Come on. Give us better than that. And it's just a way where teams just line these teams up and they just play the system and they do what they have to do to get in the championship game. That's all they're doing.
Well, let me ask you this. You said you were at the small school. When you had to play that big-time school on your schedule and you went through your week of practice or the weeks leading up to it, did your coach have you thinking that you weren't really supposed to be in this game? Did he prepare like, we might be able to win this game or we just need to show up or just take the paycheck and smile? Did you treat it like a game where you actually belonged on the same field as them?
Well, you think that, but the fact of the matter is once you start, you look at film on Monday, once you get to Tuesday, you know we're not going to win. It's just unfortunate. The team I was on, you can't. And so what happens is, as much as you think physically I'm going to be 100%, you know, you try, but mentally, when you're only 99%, I mean, it's hard to be there 100%. And all of a sudden, when that other team starts registering points on the scoreboard, it can get away pretty quick. So we just weren't equipped at that time to go against, you know, believe it or not, a Wake Forest. We weren't equipped for that. So that is what it is. But, you know, again, if you're going to schedule the teams in play. You know, we're all frustrated, like Pat was saying, with no tournament. It sucks, dude. It really sucks.
It'd be nice. It'd be nice to see a college football product that I can get behind and love, because I love football more so than any other sport on the planet. To me, the NFL is the greatest product in sports that you can find, and college football could be right behind it. But to be honest with you, I don't give a damn. I'll go to the USF games, I'll cover USF, but I don't really give a damn, because at the end of the day, USF can have the best record, and they're not going to the championship game anyways. And it's just always going to be that way with college football. I'm glad you brought up Dexter Jackson. It actually makes me think of the NFL, which is a great sport. Training camp guys are getting into $1 place tomorrow. I'll be over there talking to some of the guys. So let's talk about the NFL, because screw you, college football, until you get it right.
Wait a minute.
Screw college football.
You keep bringing up Dexter Jackson, and he brings up App State, and all of y'all want to playoff. How come nobody watch 1AA football?
Because you can't find it.
Why can't you find it?
I don't know where the hell it is.
It's on TV like the rest of them.
And I'll tell you what.
Well, that's what I played in, was 1AA football. And when you had the opportunity to try to get into the playoffs, unfortunately, I never got into the playoffs.
What channel was it on?
You can find
the guy who played it don't know where it was on TV.
He's not watching his own game.
Now the coverage is different now. You can, if you want access to games, you can pay per view and get access to games. But you know, those guys get it right. Division II gets it right. Yeah. Every division gets it right.
It's the Division I subdivision now, right? It's not even 1AA anymore.
Football Championship Bowl subdivision. You know, you have a lot of guys down there. Let me tell you, listen, the team last year, Villanova, won it, and then the year before, my alma mater won it, University of Richmond. Okay, the teams that usually win that tournament, I'm telling you, if you ranked there's 120 1A teams, or let's just say 1A teams. Then you might have, I don't know, another 100 or so 1AA teams. The team that wins that 1AA tournament, I'm telling you right now, if they got ranked with the best of them, they'd probably come in, I don't know, 60th.
And if you did rank them all, you'd rank them just below Vegas Showgirls. And all you need is a ticket stub to any of those college games to get into Vegas Showgirls for free.
Touchdown.